Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. When we last left off, we met with the Nosferatu detective D'Angelo, and began helping him investigate a series of murders, which has led us to the home of the Thin Blood Primogen. Robert Langley, I believe is his name. Let me check. We talked to him a couple of nights ago. Larson. Robert Larson. I don't know where Langley came from. So, that's where we are. Let's just jump right into it. Compared to the industrial ugliness of Red Hook, Sterling Place is quite a change of scenery. The heavily gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, the Nosferatu stops. It seems like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come. This is the place. Oh, I forgot my voice. Yeah, he had a Boston accent. This is the place. With that, he points to a surprisingly nice-looking two-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. You notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper-story window. It's probably safe to assume that the head of the family is working late, especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire. Okay, kid. We gotta be gentle about this. Talking velvet gloves, soft cushions, you rang, my lord, gentle. Need to get Lawson out here without making a fuss and let this family see us. Oh, he's got like a kid and everything, doesn't he? This is gonna end badly. If we blow this, we'll shut down like a speakeasy on Vade Night. Trust me, I know. Sounds like you two have some history. Sounds about right. That's a story for another time. Right now, let's stick to why we're here. Tell you what. How about you take the lead on this one? Curious to see how you'll handle it. You take a step back and look around the area. The lit-up window seems like a safe bet. Now it's just a matter of getting Larson's attention. His and no one else's. As you're trying to come up with a viable strategy, you're suddenly startled by a loud noise. It takes you a second to identify the sound as a dog's barking. It doesn't take you long to figure out where it came from, as a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on a leash comes into view. Ah, good boy. The goodest of boys. No, I'm not gonna feed on the doggo. I'm good. My hunger's good. Let's ring the doorbell. That throwing a rock at the window, it's more stealthy, but it's suspicious too. So ring the doorbell. Seeing no point in beating around the bush, you walk right up to the door and ring the bell. D'Angelo wobbles up behind you in a comical attempt to remain stealthy. What the hell, kid? I mean, they're taking the direct... No. What the hell, kid? I mean, they're taking a direct approach, and then there's being a complete fucking idiot. Before you're able to explain yourself, you hear footsteps from inside the house. It sounds like someone is coming down the steps toward the front door. D'Angelo bites his lip and lets out a noise that sounds like a cricket dying of throat cancer. You're guessing it was supposed to be an annoyed grunt. The door swings open, and a very unassuming and slightly unshaven man in a turtleneck stands before you. You begin to wonder how a guy like that made it on the council this long. Even for a thin blood, he looks extremely unimpressive. The man gives you a puzzled look, then looks to D'Angelo. His face twists into a disgusted frown, like he just smelled a particularly nasty fart. What the fuck, D'Angelo? I know, I can explain. Explain my ass. This is my home. Do you understand? Home, where my children sleep? As if on cue, a child's voice can be heard coming from upstairs. Dad? Oh, that is an overgrown child. Ooh, big boy. I don't know why. The outline reminds me of Crank gameplays. And I don't know why, and I hate it. It's okay, Bobby. Daddy's helping someone. You get back to bed now. I'll be right over to tuck you in. Once more, the house grows silent. Larson lets out a sigh and turns back towards you. He is not a happy camper. Get the hell out of my house. You glance over to D'Angelo. He looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this. Look, we didn't mean to intrude. All we need is 5 minutes of your time, then we're gone. Larson gives you a tired, frustrated look. He takes a deep breath. Not here. With that, he locks the front door and leads you several steps away from the porch. That's fair. What do you want? It's about the Red Hook murders. You think one of yours is responsible? Bullshit. A Dustborn's got enough trouble staying alive out here. What could possibly make them openly violate the masquerade? Desperation? The killer's been leaving messages. Wherever they are, I think they know something. Something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way this puzzle fits together. I don't buy it. You're reaching. Trying to find a scapegoat, getting your boss's good graces. Word gets around, D'Angelo. You think I don't know who you're working for? Then help us clear your people's name. What have you got to lose? Everything. I've been a thorn in the council's side for a while now. This is just the excuse they need to get rid of me. What if it turns out one of yours did it? You sat on your hands to protect him. You think the council won't jump on that? He looks off into the darkness, pondering his options. He lets out a heavy sigh. Look, I'll ask around, consult my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deductions to yourself. I have enough trouble as it is. Deal. Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my family. And with that, Larson retreats to the elusive safety of his home. You decide it's best to move along. You walk a couple of blocks in utter silence. Even D'Angelo's mumbling seems to have taken a back seat. Oddly enough, you find his newfound reticence somewhat unnerving. Finally, the Nosferatu stops and turns towards you. Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I could use a drink. Something warm. And a tall, sweaty glass. But first, let me tally your score. Let's see now. Did make a good first impression. Like someone who could talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking's cheap. Bullets, not so much. You held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on my own, but they can't all be professionals. Finally, when the situation called for subtlety, you managed to avoid unwanted attention. Discretion is what separates a private dick from just any old dick. All in all, you did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Don't let it go to your head. I'll be in touch. Let you know if I hear from Larson. Be ready to meet me at the office. Oh, I got an achievement for being the world's greatest detective. The sweet smell of success, which I'm pretty sure is what D'Angelo calls it to make himself feel better. He starts to walk away, but suddenly stops and turns back towards you. Bring a notepad. Every good assistant should have one. I like D'Angelo. Oh yeah, I need this beep. Okay. Guess that's the end of this night. See you next time, everyone.
No!
You notice something strange by the front door of your haven. There's a letter slipped under the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it was meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or just a fan of classic stationery. Nope, fan of classic stationery. That's what white people say to make themselves sound more interesting. The note is small and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. Elegant, delicate. I'm good at words. You're cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. Okay. Don't like that. I don't like it. There's no other information. Looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. So, D'Angelo's got the brains. I got the looks. We can make lots of money. Probably what we need is brawn, which a gangrel could certainly provide us. But I really want to check out that church, too. Okay, what would Lamar think? What would Lamar do? What would Lamar do? If I ever get to the point where I can make merchandise, I'm making a what would Lamar do t-shirt. Okay. I was going to choose this. The only reason I'm not going to is because I want to scope it out, but that I want to check the place. So but it doesn't seem like that's what it's saying. What did I do? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna leave it to a dice roll. Where's my dice? Alright, got a good old D6. Odd, we go to the church. Even, we talk to Tamika. Even. Alright, we're talking to good old Tamika. Let's go. You make your way through the Grand Army Plaza, passing the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arch. You can't help but feel a tinge of nostalgia as you picture the place as you've seen it countless times in broad daylight, teeming with life. You quickly get over it and pass through the Northwest Gate into Prospect Park. The park is its usual maze of unkempt foliage and dimly lit alleys. Silence hangs in the air, as it would at this time of night, and there doesn't appear to be any sign of kindred presence. You start to suspect Langley's source fed her a bunch of bullshit, but you're not willing to give up just yet. You take a deep breath, your nostrils filled with the scent of dead leaves and something else. A faint whiff of copper. Too subtle for a human to notice, but your newfound kindred intuition tells you that you're in the right spot. Yeah, these are Tamika's hunting grounds, all right. It's more than a hunch. You can feel it in your veins. Now it's only a matter of finding her. Unless, of course, she finds you first. As you ponder your options, you hear footsteps coming from behind a line of trees. Quick, but evenly paced. Most likely a late-night jogger. No vampire would take kindly to you feeding in their domain. But then again, perhaps you could kill two birds with one stone. Oh, I was just about to ask when we were going to use Auspex. So, I'm not feeding. That's a bad idea. I'm not even hungry. So we're using Auspex. Probably about to be hungry, though. The world opens up around you like a blood-scented flower. A myriad of smells and sounds pound your senses like a battering ram. You focus, trying to drown out the noise and isolate any trace of your quarry. And there it is. A rustling of leaves no farther than 100 yards to the south. Too big for an animal, too quiet and meticulous for a human. You follow the sound, careful not to make a spectacle of yourself. Even at this heightened state, tracking one of the outcasts seems like a tricky matter. From what you can tell about them, the hunter is never more than a few steps from becoming the hunted. All of a sudden, the rustling stops. The world grows eerily silent. By the time you realize something is wrong, it's already too late. Hunter, hunted. In a split second, the air by the side of your head swirls like a vortex. Driven by sheer instinct, you lean back just as 5 finger-shaped razors cut through the darkness, missing your face by an inch. A clawed shadow jumps back a few paces, preparing to correct its mistake. You catch a glimpse of the assailant. Looks pretty animalistic, all right, but he's not the one you're looking for. For starters, it's a guy. Just as he's about to lunge at you, a snarl resounds from the bushes nearby, stopping your foe in their tracks. Out of the shadows emerge a young woman, baring her teeth ever so slightly. She walks over, calmly, her eyes fixed on your assailant. Her presence is enough to make him reconsider attacking you, but not to withdraw completely. He glances over to you, over to her, puffing up his chest.
Stay out of it, Tam. I smelled them first.
Tam? How about that? She raises an eyebrow, but remains silent. Her compatriot turns back towards you.
You shouldn't have come here, pretty boy. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad you'll be wearing your tongue as a fucking necktie.
Tamika looks at you expectantly. Easy there, big shot. You made your point, okay? Confirmed badass. I'm not looking for a fight. Tamika tilts her head in a way that's barely noticeable, and yet strangely expressive. She seems disappointed. The man loosens up, his lips twisting into a wry smile. Clearly, you just gave him the confidence boost he needed.
Figures. You got that look about you. All style, no substance. Didn't even have to smell you. I know a sissy when I see one.
Ah, remember you embraced the 2000s? Well, guess what? You ain't getting off that easy, chicken shit. A fierce growl echoes from across the alley, stopping the savage in his tracks. Tamika walks over to her comrade, her fangs glistening in the dim lamplight. She puts her hand on the side of his head, caressing his hair and tugging at his ear, as if she was scolding a puppy. She leans over and speaks in a voice that's firm, yet oddly affectionate.
It's okay, Declan. I'll handle it from here.
The male gangrel looks at her with a mix of timidity and resentment. Then he turns back to you.
Fine. They're not worth the effort anyway.
Wait, what? You just said his name was Declan, now it's Raoul? Game, are you being weird again? Having said his piece, Raoul retreats into the shadows, although if you were to guess, he's likely to stay within earshot. With her companion gone, Tamika turns to you once more.
What do you want?
Straight to the point, huh? Like that.
I don't care what you like. Now quit stalling. You have something to say. Say it.
I come with an offer. I'm willing to offer you my services, such as they are. All I would hope for in return is a fruitful, long-lasting relationship.
So, you want to help me with something because you want to be my friend. That about right?
Yeah, when you put it that way. Does sound corny, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
She puts on a veneer of skepticism, but you can tell she's intrigued.
Corny's not bad, though. I think I'm okay with corny. What I'm not okay with is putting my ass on the line and getting stabbed in the back for my trouble. So, why exactly should I trust anything you say?
Her expression sours in an instant.
For a moment there, you almost had me fooled. I should have known better.
Tamika looks to the side as if you've hurt her feelings. From what you've seen so far, it's an oddly emotive reaction for her. That was weird, it didn't pop up in the line from him. Quick to realize it, she straightens up and turns her piercing gaze towards you.
You have nothing more to talk about.
Look, clearly we started off on the wrong foot.
Yes, you did. Now leave. I'll only ask once.
And with that, damn it, well... Oh, cool, I got another achievement, a recruitment fiasco. Yeah, or as I call it, a blind date. Well... Well, might as well stop by the church when we have the time. Haven't been to a church since you became a vampire, or kindred, as the euphemism goes. You've had to focus on concrete, practical things, like survival and feeding. You've learned the essentials of the vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before when you were much younger. You marveled at its Gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, It feels ominous. This prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack at a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You've quickly learned this is an essential skill for a vampire, how to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral's architecture hits you as you walk between the pews. If the architect meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory, mission accomplished. Based on the note, you're assuming that whoever you're meeting is somewhere in the front. As you step closer to the high altar, it feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. It's been a long time since you prayed. You wonder whether God listens to creatures like you. Fatalistically, you take a step, then another. You're not sure if your God is present in this cathedral, but perhaps it doesn't matter. What you feel is real enough. There's an old man sitting in the front. You only see the back of his head, bowed down in silent prayer. Your footsteps echo on the floor and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off him. He's tall, dignified, white hair balding, a few strands escaping to the side. He's wearing glasses and simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm and pale, too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Perhaps unconsciously, you expected something like this, as a vampire walking into a cathedral. Did I just walk into an Inquisition ambush? Only it's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man. The priest. Welcome, my child. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you. I'm booking it! The man is looking straight into your soul. You turn and run the way you came, stumbling out of the cathedral. You emerge outside confused and scared. What was that? At least you escaped unharmed. You stand on the sidewalk confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smells of the city, the same as every night. How did you feel? You look at the man speaking to you. He's well-dressed, if a little archaic, dark-haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if he knows something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. Did you do this to me? No, absolutely not. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segar. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. Let me find a voice for this guy. Benoit offers his hand to you. I'm gonna use my vampiric senses, because I don't trust this man. Benoit is a vampire. That much is clear. He's using his blood to simulate the functions of a living body, but the rhythm of his heartbeat reveals its artificial nature. Would you mind sitting with me for a moment? I know that's not a French accent, but I can't do that. I'm gonna do the closest thing I can do to a French accent, which is a German accent. So, I'm gonna do that. Screw it. It's my show. I do what I want. Benoit sits down and you follow suit. For a moment, you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. I know how it feels, what you just felt. I have experienced myself many times. For a moment, you consider how to respond. It's clear Benoit sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup. What's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here? We share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later. But right now the important thing is it's so much easier to show than tell. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony. Or see him. Experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that?
first I thought it was because I was in a church, but then I realized it came from him, the priest. I think you're right. It does come from him. It is faith that makes you feel like that. He's safe in his belief, while you are one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation? You stop to think. Of course you've wondered what this is all about. Whether it's about God or nature, you don't really know what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the masquerade. A human faced with a human problem can go online and find something that helps. You can't. The masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret, hidden away. You're left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like Benoit. Suddenly, Benoit takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. My heart no longer beats, yet I move, I talk. Is that how God intended us to be? I don't even know what this accent is anymore. Let go of my hand, asshole. Benoit lets go of your hand and you quickly withdraw it. You're asking yourself these same questions. You know you are. Sometimes I'm skeptical too. But in Father Anthony's presence, I know faith is real. I know it because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about faith and our kind? Perhaps we're divine, not damned. Benoit laughs, and for the first time the air of bitterness enveloping him lifts. You're clever! There are many religious cults among the kindred, even more among the Anarchs. Some of them do believe we are divine. We die, we rise again, just like Jesus. Be careful with that kind of talk, though. You may not know it, but there are always politics attached to every belief. Go into an Elysium, declare your divinity, and everyone around you will start making assumptions about you. Sometimes faith is best kept private, even among our kind. Just ask yourself, when you met Father Anthony, did you feel divine? Did you have anything else, or did I just come here to talk about religion? I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children, anyone can have that conviction inside them. It's too much. You expect me to go along with all this insanity. Benoit nods patiently. Let's meet again in a few nights, here at the cathedral. We could talk more after you've thought it through. We leave Benoit sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. Would it be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you experienced? Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true, but what does that mean? Oh man, I gotta speak. Okay, let's speak.